Can't decide and torn between a romantic, comedy, action, or an indie film to watch for the weekend? Well. Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast is your ultimate guide to the latest movies. Join us as we dissect the latest on the blockbusters. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Movie Podcast, brought to you by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Arianne, and I'm always joined by the beautiful Heidi over here.
Thank you so much.
We are reviewing or talking about the movies Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. So we chose these ones because they're both DC.
Right, we're going into the DC universe.
Yeah, because we watched... I feel like we've done a few on Marvel, like we did Spider-Man and what other one? I don't know.
Probably another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've gone into Marvel before.
Yeah. So let's go to DC. And with Aquaman just coming out, actually, like during the Christmas weekend.
The Christmas season.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. That's why. Another reason. So anyway, it was released Aquaman was released December 21st, 2018. The director was, is James Wan. Mm-hmm. The cast, of course, Jason Momoa, super hot, as Arthur... or Aquaman. Mm-hmm. Mara was Amber Heard. King Orm, or the Ocean Master in the movie, was played by Patrick Wilson. And then Atlanta was played by Nicole Kidman. So Atlanta plays Jason's mom. Mm-hmm. Not Jason, Aquaman's mom.
Yes. Yeah.
And then King Orm, or the Ocean Master, is Aquaman's half brother. Mm-hmm. So... yeah. So anyway, the summary is, if you haven't seen it, it's about Atlantis and how it was once the home of the most advanced civilization on Earth. They had amazing technology, but now it is currently an underwater kingdom ruled by hungry King Orm. He's hungry for power, not just hungry because he's hungry.
For fish.
Yeah. King Orm, which is, like I said, Arthur or Aquaman's half brother. King Orm plans to conquer the rest of the ocean people and then take over the surface world. Aquaman, King Orm's half human, half Atlantean brother, is the only thing standing in his way. Aquaman is the true heir to the throne of Atlantis because he is Atlanta, played by Nicole Kidman's firstborn son. And she was the queen of Atlantis. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so to prove this and stop his little brother Orm from carrying out just like this huge war, Arthur has to retrieve the legendary trident of Atlan, which was basically the first king of Atlantis. So with all that being said, I want to first say Jason Momoa looks amazing in this movie. Like, not just because, there's plenty of scenes with his shirt off. He's very fit.
Yes.
I feel like they just made him look the part. Like his hair, the beard. My brother-in-law is a big superhero kind of, mostly like Marvel comic. Yeah. Okay. But he knows a little bit about the DC world. And he said that with the costumes and everything that happened in this film, Aquaman looked more like himself so I guess something happens where he ends up having to cut his hand gets cut off or something like that. And then he goes into a depression mode, and that's where he starts to grow his hair and his beard.
So he ends up looking like Jason Momoa when Aquaman is basically depressed.
Yeah, because his hand got cut off. Well,
he shouldn't be depressed. Jason Momoa looks great. He should be happy he looks like that.
Oh yeah, he does. I really liked this film. I thought it was one of DC's best films so far. I know a lot of people would disagree because Wonder Woman is a DC film. And a lot of people really liked Wonder Woman. We'll get into how me and Heidi feel about that here shortly.
And then you can send us all of your hate mail.
Exactly. But I thought this was better than Wonder Woman. So I don't know what else to say. I thought, oh my gosh, the visuals of Atlantis underwater, the underwater kingdom, was amazing. It reminded me of you know, when in Thor, when they first introduce, what is Thor's kingdom? Like, Asgard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it's like all in the universe, and it's just like glowing and special and rich. Like, that's how it looks, like with all this amazing technology and just glowing underneath the water. That's what it reminded me of, like Asgard underwater.
I would say, so I thought the CG was pretty good, but there were parts that I like didn't really believe, because I felt like when they're underwater, they put like a weird filter over everyone to make it look like they're underwater.
Yeah.
But to me, it made them look a little plasticky.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's CGI. They're basically all CGI. So like they do look, I was like, yeah, they look kind of fake. But the other thing I kept thinking about is I was like, man, they basically, all of these actors just like acted almost half of this movie, if not more, on a green screen. Like some of these actors never went on an actual set besides in like a warehouse with a green screen.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I really noticed and couldn't stop thinking about was when they're underwater, because their hair is that weird thing when you're underwater, you know? And I was like, man, how did they do that? Did they like wear like green screen cap the whole time? Like I couldn't stop thinking about that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's a personal hang up. But I thought it looked a little weird, like some of the creatures and some of the scenes when they're like going into like, they go into this like Coliseum like thing to fight like Aquaman and King Orm, and that to me is a little not believable. But I don't know. I thought that some of the Marvel CGI looked better than this DC CGI.
I agree.
But I will say my favorite of the DC superhero movies is probably like the Christian Bale Batman films.
Yeah, those ones were pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't know how close that studio worked with DC.
Right.
Besides just having the rights to the character of Batman.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but I will say DC, whoever is doing your writing, it's not great. It could use a little bit of cleanup.
It could use a lot of work. I want to say that because I in my notes I did mention there's a villain. There's actually two villains in this film, and which I personally felt like having two villains, it was super unnecessary because it made the movie drag a little bit.
Made it longer.
Yeah. The one conflict with Aquaman and King Orm would have been enough.
Yeah.
But they threw in excuse me. They threw in Black Mantis and his character was unnecessary in the film. Like just seriously, he did not need to be there. And the dialogue of that character was not, it was weak. I'm gonna just say that.
I would also say I felt like there were some times when like the actors looked at the lines that were written for them and were just like, really, I have to say this, and then didn't try because they knew they were bad. Like none of the jokes landed.
None of them.
Really.
None of them.
The other thing I will say, I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but I felt like the times that I thought he was funny, because I find Jason Momoa to be very charming.
Yeah.
Like, I think he kind of has, like, the screen presence to really carry off, like, any of his characters, and I think he does it really well. The only times I thought it was funny is because it's just Jason Momoa being himself.
Exactly.
Otherwise, his jokes that were scripted for him didn't carry.
Right.
Just the way that he acted, I thought was enough to make it funny, but that's not because they scripted that in.
And I feel like those scripted jokes were, specifically for Jason Momoa's character, were under his age group.
Yeah,
like they weren't something that somebody, like if you look at somebody, like, you know, when you hear people say, oh, that's a mom joke or that's a dad joke, like he doesn't look like a mom or a dad type of jokey person. Yeah, but the jokes were meant for like tweens.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like PG-13. Yeah. So there are times when I feel like they're trying to make him deliver like a cool line. Yeah. And I'm like, this is not cool. Right. I feel like they're trying to be like, oh, 13-year-olds will think this is cool. And it wasn't. It wasn't. Like when he's like trying to like intimidate his brother, King Orm, he's like, King Orm's like, oh, I'm going to beat you or whatever. And then just Aquaman's like up and like we call it an ass whooping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a terrible line.
It was horrible.
I feel like they just wrote that so 13-year-olds be like, oh, he said ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not that cool.
It was a horrible, the written jokes. You can totally tell when Jason Momoa performed or executed the written jokes rather than when it was more improv joke.
Yeah. Or just him being, charming in himself. Because he is. I feel like he doesn't need the scripted charm because he already has it.
Yeah, he definitely does. And and it wasn't just his jokes. It was all the jokes.
Everyone's jokes.
Yeah. Because even, what's her name?
Amber Heard?
Yeah, Amber Heard. Her character, Mara, had jokes and they were horribly delivered.
They were bad.
None of them. I was in a theater that was more than halfway full. I would say at least 75% full, and nobody laughed at any of the jokes.
The one part I remember people in my theater laughing is there's a scene when they're on a boat and they're being attacked by like these underwater creatures that are like jumping from the water into their boat, and on the boat they're like, oh, quick, get in here, and they get inside the little cabin of the boat, which is just a room of windows, and everyone's laughing because they're like, why would you go in there? They're just gonna break the glass. It's like it doesn't make any sense, and that's the time people laughed in my theater. There are lines that they try and I'm like,
it was just we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back and talk more about the new DC film Aquaman.
What happens to your decision-making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back to the GSMC movie podcast. We're still talking about Aquaman. We're going to talk about the CGI actually in this too, because Heidi mentioned earlier the CGI in this. Of course, we both feel like that Marvel has better CGI.
But a lot of this film is CGI with the underwater stuff, as we've mentioned.
And some of the CGI of the underwater looked decent. It looked like it could be a real underwater world. You know what I mean? But you do obviously know that it's like not real. Just like, I mean, I don't know. Like with Asgard, you know that it's not real, but then I feel like they bring real elements into it.
Because that's the other thing that's weird, is I felt like when they did Thor, like in Asgard, which is a terrible name for a place, like they bring in real like prop pieces that characters are sitting on and stuff. I feel like they really didn't do that much with this film.
No.
And it didn't give me a sense of reality.
Right.
And then there are other CGI elements that we both agree are a little strange.
Yeah.
And they've done this in other movies before, and I feel like it's more common, but it doesn't always turn out well.
Like in this one, so at the very beginning, they show Nicole Kidman, who plays Aquaman or Arthur's mom, and then his dad, who lives on the surface. They call it the surface world. And they CGI them to look like 20 years younger. And it just looks so weird. Like, I don't know. First of all, I do want to say Nicole Kidman looks great for her age.
Yeah, she really does.
Looks amazing.
She looks so great.
Yeah. But to have them both look 20 plus years younger, like, I just feel like they could have found two actors that look similar, and then like we obviously know we change when we age, so it's not like it would have been weird. But
I really like the guy they chose to play Aquaman's dad.
Yeah,
because when you see him older, I'm like, oh, he's a real person. He does not look like a super Hollywood glam. Like Nicole Kidman looks gorgeous.
Right.
But the dad, I'm like, he is a believable guy. Like, not saying he looks bad looking, but he's a believable guy.
Right.
But then when you see him younger, he looks kind of weird.
He looks like plastic. Fake.
Yeah. And I think that's because of the CGI. The man who plays Aquaman's dad is Tamara Morrison. And I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, he's younger. He has like the full head of hair, which he doesn't have when he's older.
Right.
And it just looks like I don't know, like his skin looks fake.
Right. It looks like it's like plastic.
Yeah, he's like too glowy.
Yeah, and just it's really, really just smooth and just kind of buffed over.
Yeah, like they obviously did some makeup on him, but it's like extra. I don't know. It looks very odd. They could have chosen younger actors.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Also, I want to mention on more of the actors, William Dafoe is in this film too, and I thought he did a good job. He's like the advisor to the King Orm, and I thought he did a great job. And then also Dolph Lundgren is in here too.
He did an amazing job.
I didn't even know it was him until I like looked at the cast, and I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he plays another king in
like
the
another
sea.
another kingdom in the ocean.
Right.
And I thought he did a great job because normally when I see him, I just think that he's the guy from Rocky,
right.
which we've mentioned when we did our Rocky podcast.
Exactly. Or just
episode.
Or his like he's typically character cast as like this
he really
big,
is,
scary
big, like, Russian guy.
That will just whoop your butt. But in this one he plays like a king and just like really powerful, but
not in the beat you up kind of way.
Exactly. No, he does a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of that was also CGI to make him not look so like
rough,
like how we know him.
Yeah,
but he did a good job. I also want to mention Randall Park plays like a scientist in this film, and Randall Park is on like the show like Fresh Off the Boat, or in the movie The Interview, and I think he's a really good comedic actor, and I like seeing him in things, but I could not take him seriously in this film because I know him as a comedian, and his character is kind of like outlandish because he's on the news all the time saying like, it's Atlantis, it's the Atlantans.
Yeah,
and so his character is almost humorous in a way,
right.
But he's supposed to be like the crazy scientist, and I didn't find that believable. I couldn't not laugh when I saw him.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was, but even in the show, it's like he's like the crazy reporter that they portrayed him to be in this one. It was just like, why is he there?
And it was hard for me to like believe him as that character. And Julie Andrews' voice is in this.
That I know.
She's the Carathin.
She is.
I thought that was great.
And
she's like a mythical creature.
Yeah.
She does a good job at that.
She
Her
did.
voice is perfect for that.
She did an amazing job. I didn't even know it was her until I looked up. I was like, last night, because I was like, who was that?
Yeah.
And then my brother-in-law was like, oh yeah, it's Julie Andrews. I was like, yeah, it was. Now I can hear it.
Yeah, she did a good job.
Yeah. I do want to say that the romance in this one, because there's a romance thing, I just did not like it. Not because like I'm a big Jason Momoa fan or anything like that, but it just did not feel realistic, and I felt like it was unnecessary. Like the romance in it was Mara, and she's actually engaged to be wed to King Orm.
Right, to his Aquaman's brother.
Exactly. Yeah. And then she just kind of starts falling for Aquaman, and I don't know. It just seemed awkward because every moment that they had in the film where it could have been romantic, there was like a super large explosion that just ruined everything, or something just like smashes through like the middle of their faces. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. So I was like, this is unnecessary.
I liked the romance in this more than I liked the Wonder Woman romance.
That romance was dumb.
Like this is more believable to me. But again, that's probably just because I just am like, oh, Jason Momoa, he's so charming. Like I could see how that would happen. I don't know. But I liked Mara's character. I like her character a lot.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Jason Momoa again. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, when we came in to talk about this show, Arianne is like, I mean, he wasn't shirtless enough.
Right. He was good. He did an amazing job. I love the context in his eyes and like the descriptions. I don't know, like his whole look in it.
Golden eyes.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Super cool.
He swims underwater in jeans.
Yeah.
That is a terrible choice.
It's heavy and awkward.
It's not aerodynamic.
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
But then like they're made to be like water people, I guess.
Yeah, like super swimmers.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, God, jeans. Terrible choice.
One thing I do want to mention in this is the sound effects. Because a lot of the sound effects for like so they talk about like the evolution of the sea people. And some of them like stop evolving at a certain point, and then some of them are like the royalty blood people, like King Orm and all of them. Where they can breathe in and out of water. They can, survive on both. But some of the creatures that didn't evolve like to a point They just the
They're
sound,
like weird monsters.
yeah, they were like weird looking. Of course, it was CGI, but like the sound that the sound crew chose for these sounded like I feel like we've all seen the Transformers movies.
Yeah.
And when the first robot like Transformer came and it makes like this weird like clicky robotic sound.
Yeah.
That's what these sea creatures sounded
They just
like.
borrowed the sound effect from
Yeah.
Transformers and put it into sea creatures.
It was so weird. I'm like, they sound like robotic, like broken robots with like dots. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Like, they're supposed to
Yeah.
be sea creatures. They don't make noises like that. I don't know. Not
Right.
that I'm like a sound expert, but that's what really stuck out to me, especially when they were
interesting.
on the boat and they went into. I was like, why? They're in the middle of the ocean. They shouldn't sound like robots right now.
Also, I want to mention another CGI. There was so much CGI, but some of the Atlantean people, when they go into the water and they evolve, some of them evolve to look like crabs.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop laughing because there's this scene when there's like King Orm. He wants to rule all the seas.
Yeah.
And to do that, he has to have control over all of the
Realm,
sea,
like sea
kingdoms,
creatures,
basically. So he wants to take control of them. And the crab people essentially are not going to go without fighting.
Yeah.
And so there's like this fight between the crab kingdom and the
Yeah.
other kingdoms. And I just couldn't. Like, I can't
was
take it
weird.
seriously when there's little not little, but crabs, because they just look like crabs.
Yeah.
Like a Dungeness crab attacking like someone on a shark. Like, I just can't
Yeah.
take that seriously. And I couldn't stop thinking about like the South Park episode when the crab people, and then the song Crab People got into my head from the South Park episode. And then I couldn't stop laughing because I just think crabs look funny anyway.
Yeah,
so
they
to
do.
see some guy who looks like a crab with like a
Right.
spear, I just
And it was, and it wasn't even like,
couldn't take it seriously.
yeah, crabs crawling, and it was like facing you. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
could
was just
see
a
like the
crab
bottom, like the
coming
belly
at you.
part of the crab. Yeah, it was so weird. I don't know. And then I do their guns.
Yeah.
That when they would shoot at like Aquaman and Mera on shore, like on land, it still sounded like they were shooting underwater.
Like the same sound. They didn't change the sound.
It didn't change at all. It's like, and then it's like a splash of water. You're like, wait, I don't feel like that's what that gun would have sounded like out of water.
Yeah.
But it still sounds like it's in water or shooting water because it's just, I don't know.
So
the
how
sound
could they
effects
shoot?
were weird.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. I don't
agree.
know.
That was a little strange.
Yeah. So that is, I still like the movie though. I still really liked it.
yeah.
I feel like DC did a better job on this superhero film than the other ones that have been before it.
Also,
So,
I will say I had low expectations coming in, but I was entertained.
Yeah.
This was an entertaining movie that to me is more entertaining than some of the other DC films.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also if you're trying to take your kids, like maybe you're still on break or something, or you're ending your Christmas break going into the new year and you
Right.
want to take, the family out to go see a film. I would say this is pretty good for older children.
Yeah, this
And I
is a
think
good
it's-
family film.
I think it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Even though all of the cringy things we've mentioned, I was still entertained, It was a good show.
It was a little long.
Yeah, it was a little long. It could have gotten rid of Black Manta.
Yeah.
But the scene when Aquaman is on a submarine at the very beginning, I thought that was a very good scene.
Yeah, that
to
was.
set up his character. But yeah, then they have Black Manta, which is an unnecessary villain. But they're just setting up for the next Aquaman film.
That's what I said.
They're just going for the next sequel.
With Black Manta in the beginning of that, they could have left him out at the rest
Right.
and then
Have him
did
come
like an
back at the end.
Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
Just-
If there's
well,
sorry guys.
There's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have just done Black Manta in the beginning
And then Black Manta at the
post
end.
credits.
Yeah.
And that would have been enough.
Yeah. And then set it up for Aquaman.
Also, I did not
Part
give
2.
away the post-credit scene. You're still going to want to see it.
Yeah.
You're still going to want to stay through the credits to see it.
Right. But that definitely would have set up an Aquaman Part 2.
Yeah.
And to still have a villain in there.
Yeah.
But we're going to take another break and then come back and talk about Wonder Woman.
What happens to your decision making when you drink? Well, after one drink, you feel confident. A few more, and calling your ex at 1 a.m. seems like a great idea. And you're pretty sure the secret to a great taco is 4-day-old macaroni. The bottom line, drunk you doesn't make great decisions. So you're risking a DUI or worse if you count on him to get you home. Plan before you party. Get home safe. Brought to you by Washington Target Zero.
Welcome back to the GSMC Movie Podcast. We're going to move on and talk about Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman was released June 2nd, 2017. Director was Patty Jenkins. The person who played Diana or Wonder Woman was Gal Gadot. Gadot. Okay, yeah. I'm like putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable here, guys. Sorry. Steve Trevor played by Chris Pine, and then Ares played by David Thewlis, which are, I feel like those are like the main characters, because I really didn't. This movie, let me just give a summary and
then we'll dive in.
Right. So Diana was raised as a princess of the Amazons, and she was trained to be an unconquerable warrior on a sheltered paradise island. When Steve Trevor, he was an American pilot posing as a German pilot or airman, ends up crashing his plane near the island paradise. Diana saves his life. Steve ends up telling Diana about the world and the war that's going on. It was World War II, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So World War II, and how the world is just in a horrible position and things are just horrible all around. So she figures out that she's actually a god. And Wonder Woman is the only one who can defeat the god Ares, or god of war, who like basically starts it all according to their legend. And anyways, Diana leaves the Paradise Island, and with Steve, they try to help people and figure out, how to stop the war, all this stuff. Anyway, while she tries to defeat Ares.
Arianne just wants to tell you how she feels about this film.
Really did not like it. I'm sorry, guys. I like Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gadot.
It's okay. You could say I call her Gal.
Gal, yeah. She did a great job as Wonder Woman. I feel like she played a very good Wonder Woman.
I think she looks like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She looks like a superhero. She did a good job.
Yeah.
She was a model before this, right?
Yeah, because she is very tall.
She looks like Wonder Woman. Yeah. I really believed that. And I think she did a good job as Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. But okay, also, I did not love this film. Yeah. And I feel bad. I feel bad for saying that. Like, as a woman, I feel bad for not liking this. But I like Wonder Woman, the character.
Right. I like the character as well. Gal did a great job. I liked the women warriors. I didn't like the dialogue or the acting.
I didn't think their acting was great.
The fighting parts where they would just fight.
Also, the director, Patty Jenkins, she got women who are very athletic. Yeah. She got real, athletic women to play these Amazonian warriors. Yeah. But the problem is they're not actors. Right. I just think that they were great as, all the fighting, and you see Diana training, and through her life, her origin story, kind of as, a flashback. Exactly. I think, not a flashback, but her origin story to set up her character. All the women who played the Amazonians looked the part, and I thought were great in that sense. But I didn't think they were great at delivering their dialogue.
No, not at all.
And I feel like it was a great dream. This would be great if they could do this. Yeah. I just felt like they didn't do it as well as maybe could have been.
Exactly. And I just want to compare to the general warriors in Black Panther, all the female warriors there. Yeah. They got actors, but they put them through a training course to be warrior-esque, have the fighting and all that. So I feel like if they would have got enough fit females to play these Amazonian warriors, they could have put them through a training class. Right. So where it looked believable, their fighting skills, but then they would have also been able to deliver their lines. Right. So
I also think this is another DC thing where I'm I don't think the writing was great.
No, the dialogue, I can't get past. What is wrong with DC and their dialogue?
I don't know. It's not
their
good.
Writing just in this film, in Wonder Woman, there were a lot of just, I want to say, empty spaces. Yes. Because some of the looks that Wonder Woman gives, Chris Pine's character, is just you guys are going to talk?
I feel like it's acting with your eyes, but you're not doing the acting well. Exactly. It's you're trying to communicate something, but I'm not getting what it is.
Exactly. And it's so Heidi said before we were on air that we like Chris Pine. Yeah. He's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. But this role just, I don't know, it just didn't fit him. Maybe it was the writing.
I don't know what it,
But
he didn't seem likable, but not even dislikable. His character was sort of nothing.
Yeah. And I think that's what it was. It was his character, because I feel like he did a good job like delivering the lines he was provided, but if they would have let him improv a little bit more and be a little bit more Chris Pine, maybe tell him like you can still be you in improv, but
or
just
this
remember
is the motivation of the character.
Yeah.
Just kind of go with it.
Yeah, and just remember this is set in, you know, World War II time, and then just do you there.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they gave him that option because I didn't see it. It was hard to watch.
And I also did not enjoy the love story between Diana and Steve.
Yeah.
I just felt like it wasn't believable, and I just like, I don't know. And also, it's Wonder Woman. She doesn't need a man.
She doesn't. She's Wonder Woman.
She doesn't need a man.
She does it all.
I don't know why they needed to put that in there.
No.
I mean, I guess to give Chris Pine's character a
reason
role to be there.
I guess. I don't know. They could have. Well, I guess she wouldn't have found out any other way. Like
True.
World
That's how
War.
she found out about the war.
Right. Exactly. But I do want to mention that I did like the whole backstory about like the gods and everything, because when she's growing up, they don't tell her that she's Wonder Woman or that she is part or full. Is she full god? I don't know.
Remember.
She's like, anyway, she has godly blood in her or whatever. I don't know. But
Like the Greek gods, like
Ares.
Yeah.
And so I liked the backstory of that simply because when she goes out to the real world and almost everybody she talks to, she's like, I gotta find Ares. Where's Ares? And they all look at her like she's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, who are you talking about? Like, Are you talking about the Ares, the god of war? Like that's not real.
Right.
Like they're looking at her like a crazy person. And I just thought that was hilarious. But she did a good job with that.
Yeah,
and
she did.
To have the backstory there, you know why she's over there telling people, I have to find this person to stop all this stuff.
Because she believes that Ares, the god of war, is always the one who starts wars.
Exactly.
And so if she kills Ares, the war, World War II, will stop.
Yeah, would be
and,
over.
you know, events unfold. But there are other scenes with other characters as well. There's like a Native American character.
Yeah.
And there's a character with like PTSD. And I found none of those lines believable.
There weren't.
They leaned so heavily into like Native American stereotype.
Yeah.
And not that I even thought that was like bad or insulting, but it just like
it
was
didn't
like
fit.
cheap, and the character didn't have
Yeah.
any body besides he like sets up a teepee and makes a fire.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what
and
is
then
this?
You hear him, and it is the basic stereotype of like the Native, Native American, like the code speakers or whatever they were. But it just it was
the code talkers.
Code
Yeah.
talkers, yeah. And it's like, really, no, it doesn't even go right now.
Right.
I don't know.
It was weird. And he delivered lines that were supposed to be like really wise, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just the Native American stereotype of like you
It
have
was
the answers. And I just thought that was really awkward. I don't even know if I'd say that was even like bad or like insulting, but it was just not good.
Yeah.
It didn't fit.
It didn't fit.
Yeah.
I didn't see the point in having that character either.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like Chris Pine has his like people that, or Steve, I guess, he has his little group that he can trust to go do things, because in this movie he plays a spy. Like, he has to trust somebody, but to have those people to be the people he trusts and keeps by his side,
And give them
like,
bad lines.
Yeah, I was just like,
believe
I
that.
feel like they could have put him with like a platoon and had like his people in there be his like.
Yeah, or they could have just written the character better.
Yeah.
They could have just written his like cohort better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also feel like Gal Gadot could be a good Wonder Woman. I just think maybe different writing, you know, or maybe just different editors.
Right.
Maybe some better direction, I think, on the directorial part. I'm not saying anything like I'm not saying like I don't like Patty Jenkins.
Right.
I just think maybe a little bit different direction, especially with her and with Chris Pine. I feel like maybe almost Chris Pine was neglected in this film.
Yeah, because they wanted to focus more so on Wonder Woman and
Right.
her purpose, that it kind of, Chris Pine's character, Steve, got put on the back burner.
Right. I almost feel like
so to
Chris
speak.
Pine didn't get direction.
No.
And they just like, I don't know.
Here's your lines, do your best,
Right.
bye.
And I feel like it's a little awkward.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of other movies that she's directed, so I can't really compare to see if like what she's better at, as far as if this was her first like superhero movie or whatever. I don't know. I do want to say that I really liked how Wonder Woman, like her powers, and how she was not afraid to use them, and like she was just so her. Like Wonder Woman was not afraid to be like, when she went into the real world, she was still the Amazonian warrior Wonder Woman. She was not like, I have to hide myself kind of like attitude that a lot of the superheroes get, unless they're dressed up in their uniform. She was just like, you know what? I am who I am, and I'm going to save these people because I'm Wonder Woman, and this is what I do. Like, she's figured out who she was, and she's just going to go be who she is. Like, and I really liked that about this, the film there.
Oh, yeah. Also, Patty Jenkins directed the film Monster from 2003.
Yeah, no,
with Charlize Theron. And so basically so she did Monster 2003, and then she did Wonder Woman 2017. She also will be directing Wonder Woman, the next film which comes out 2020. That is Wonder Woman 1984. It's in post-production right now. And then she did some other TV. She did Arrested Development, Entourage.
Yeah.
Some other TV things. I Am the Night. A few other films. Films and television.
Sure. Okay. I'm going to have to go reflect back on Monster. I've heard of it, but I don't really remember seeing
Monster was good. She got, I think that was well received.
Decent.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say that Ares did the character of Ares. The person playing him, what was his name? David Thewlis. So I know him from the Harry Potter movies. He plays Professor Lupin, the werewolf guy.
He's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah, excuse me. Just choked on air. Sorry, guys.
I think he's good. And I liked the character in this film. I thought that was because the whole film, Wonder Woman is like, I have to find Ares. And then really you don't believe her that she's going to find Ares. Because you're like, that's crazy. That's like a random Greek god.
Right.
But he does appear. Eventually you realize who he is and that he's Ares. And I liked that twist.
I did like it. Yeah. I feel like, so in the other movie, when we were saying about the CGI and making people look younger, I feel like they could have did that with Ares, because if he's a god, then he wouldn't have aged the way he is.
True. Well, that was just his human form, right?
Yeah. But I mean, to be like this old guy, I don't know. It was weird. I was like, why is this old guy here playing Ares when they could have CGI'd him to look a little bit younger, or just got a different actor?
Potentially.
Not saying that David Thewlis did a horrible job. I think he did a great job, but he's a good actor. I think he's funny. But I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was supposed to. It didn't fit. A lot of things didn't fit very well with me in this movie. That's just a feeling I got.
Yeah. I would say I did not thoroughly enjoy Wonder Woman as much as everyone did. I felt like it was a little awkward and strangely written and directed, but I don't think that takes away from the importance that the movie Wonder Woman has on society. It really coincided with the Me Too movement, and I think Wonder Woman, really a lot of people felt impacted by the film, and seeing a superhero film led by a woman, it did great in box office sales.
It did.
And I think it really proved to studios, hopefully, that women can headline their own films and they can be very commercially successful and just successful in general.
Right.
And I don't think my opinion of this film takes away from that.
No.
And I don't think that means the movie doesn't have importance. I think it really does. It also came out in a time where it was really needed. And I think that's important.
Right.
I just don't think it's like a cinematic masterpiece.
Right. Exactly. And for the DC lovers out there, I know that this was definitely a good beginning for the Wonder Woman series in that, because I know that DC has just as many superheroes and villains as Marvel, but I feel like to jumpstart all the stuff that DC started out with like the 50 million Batman movies, or
all the Superman.
Yeah, Green Lantern was horrible.
Oh, let's not even go there.
But I
Poor
know
Ryan Reynolds.
I know, poor guy. But I just feel like Wonder Woman was a very, very good stepping stone. It's like Heidi said, the Batmans with what's his name, Christian Bale. Those were good.
Those were great.
But to do something different and not all the Batman series and all that, and just remaking those, to do something like with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and just starting off their character build. Wonder Woman, it was definitely important for them to. I like how they started with her.
Yeah, they'll go on to Justice League, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just like how Marvel did with the Avengers.
Exactly. And I hope they redo the whole not the Justice League. What
Green Lantern?
No, with the Joker and Harley Quinn and the villains.
Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad, yeah.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that.
That was horrible. I couldn't even. we're not even going to get into that.
No.
So, but I hope they redo that whole stuff too, because DC has a lot of work, but they have a lot to work with too.
They do.
So get better writers.
Yeah.
And yeah. But that was our review on Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Thank you so much for listening. Join us in next time for more movie reviews.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.